What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. So welcome to part 1 of my overhauling of Mortal Kombat 11. In this video I'm going to be covering the variation system, going over my ideas to overhaul the variation system. Part 2 will be the mechanics of the game, part 3 will be the characters themselves, and so on and so forth as I go through my several part series going over all my ideas to overhaul Mortal Kombat 11. Alright, so the very first thing I noticed when I was thinking about ways to change the variation system was that you're kind of gridlocked for a couple of reasons, because there are really two variation systems at play here. We have the custom variation system that was introduced in Ultimate, but we also have the preset variation system. Now the preset 3 tournament legal variation system that's still there really causes a lot of problems for a lot of things. For one, if you change a move's slotting, change their point value, or take a move that's a selectable move and make it default, you now affect a lot of these variations that were preset, because the move slotting is changed, the move is not even there anymore because it's default, so it's not even selectable. What do you add there now? So it really changes a lot of these. Also, right now I feel like the community's kind of split in 3 in how they go over their games here. So let's go over to the online menu really quick. Let me show you what I mean. So right now you have ranked / combat league. It's pretty much the most common way people choose to play the game. So right now you have your, here we go, your ranked games. Then you have your casual games, right? And then you have casual with competitive mode on. Now, if you were to, in my eyes, get rid of these banned moves, which is, I'm going to cover character by character, but if you get rid of these banned moves and basically get rid of the preset variations or whatever, this automatically gets rid of the, because some people right now are like, oh, well, you have competitive mode, casual competitive. There are 3 ways to play. Like I said, ranked, competitive, casual competitive. They should just make it, you're either going to play ranked / combat league or casual. That's it. None of this, well, these moves are here, these moves are there. No, and a lot of that is still left over from the 3 variation system. It started with the 3 variation system, and then you had the custom move wasn't legal, and then they made custom legal, and then they unbanned, then they have all these banned moves. So character by character, I'm going to do that breakdown. But there would be no banned moves, right, in my variation system. No banned moves, and as I break the characters down, I would go over what I would do with each move individually. So, no banned moves, but what I would also do is update the game for the actual game we have now. So, for example, there are some moves in this game which are pretty much a complement to the variation they're equipped with, because you split them in 3. And while these moves are in general completely useless, they become useful in some situations because of the variation they're put in to complement. So for example, I'm going to take Sub-Zero. Now I just want to say, this is the MK community, so I have to say this, unfortunately. In the Mortal Kombat community, there's some doofus out there who's going to say, duh, Tom don't want the buff though. No. In my overhaul of Sub-Zero, I'm removing the overhead and also drastically slowing down his slide. In no way, shape, or form am I doing any type of buff for Sub-Zero when I go over my overhaul. But this is the character that I'm most familiar with, Sub-Zero. So Avalanche here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the variations here. You have Dead of Winter, which is designed to be a mixed variation. Thin Ice, which was designed to be more of a zoning variation, quote unquote zoning. And then you had Avalanche here, which was designed to be more of, you know, hey, this is going to be a setup variation. So he has this Arctic Trap move. Now the thing about this move is that not only was it actually kind of crap before, it's even worse now, because they get up 9 frames faster. So they get up 4 frames faster on the front end because the knockdown duration doesn't last as long. The knockdown duration is 4 frames shorter. So you begin your get up animation 4 frames sooner. And then as you're getting up, you recover from your get up animation 5 frames sooner. 5 plus 4 equals 9, boys. So you actually can move 9 frames faster. So now when Sub-Zero does something like let's say I slide him across the screen, right? Slide him across the screen. And, even though you're far away, I'm going to set this up. So you're far away. I'm nowhere near you, right? So what am I going to do? Not that. And it was still a punish. Can you believe that? And it's still a punish. Okay, so it's an easy punish. Jackie, for example, even though I'm plus and she's across the screen, Jackie will just leap across the screen. Gearus will sand trap me. There are a lot of characters that actually have full screen options. Ironically, you wouldn't think so, but this move is minus 69. So because it takes Sub-Zero so many frames to recover, especially now where they get up faster, they can really kind of abuse this. But the purpose of this move was to complement the avalanche variation. So once again here, let's try this, and I'll just do a, trap. And let's see what Jackie can do here. Easy punish. And, even if you're closer, and I do like moves nearly plus 50, so almost every character has a way to destroy this. So I'll take a move that most people don't consider very fast, like, let's say, Scorpion Spear. Like, this Scorpion Spear is not considered to be like a really good punisher, right? Like, no one looks at the spear and says, wow, man, that spear is really fast. So it's not a great punisher. Okay, so I'm going to do a knockdown here that's plus 46, right? Just so I'm just trying to show you. I'll get to the point very soon, guys. So this is a plus 46 frame advantage knockdown. And Scorpion is also, notice, he's like across the screen here, dude. Look at where he actually is. He's basically almost completely across the screen. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to try to guard. So let's see what Scorpion can do. And it's a full punish from across the screen. So even at plus 46, Scorpion gets to get up and do a 17 frame spear. Then the spear has to travel from here. So it's, almost every character can blow this up. Liu Kang can wake up high fireball. Gearus again can still always sand trap. Just about every character in the game has some way to blow this up. And it's so slow you can't just set it up in neutral without somebody blowing it up. But the whole purpose of this move was designed to complement this variation. And I know, by the way, there's somebody out there that's going to say, so I'm only doing this for these people out there that are going to say this, but Tom, you got to do something like this, dog, right? And set it up, right? And then they can't move, they got to block. Notice I only did 14% though. It's a 14% combo, and then I'm supposed to mix them afterwards. Very quickly, let me just show you here. They can actually still get up and flawless block, which, who doesn't love that? And let's do this. Okay, so let's say I try to here's the ice ball, and I try to come in. See if I can bait it out, obviously. But if I try to come in to mix, right, that's what happens. So, and of course, if they do a delay wake up and I whiff this, then I'm dead. So the purpose is, I have this mini game that I'm playing. Am I going to bait out the flawless block? Am I going to think, no, they're not going to flawless block, come into mix, and then I have to deal with delay or not delay? There's all options they have there, right? Up 3 me in the face as I come in. There's a lot of options there that they can do. Like in situations like this. So why would I do all that? And keep in mind, the whole purpose of Arctic Trap was so that Sub-Zero can mix you up with a low or an overhead into the trap. Like, this is just too slow to set up in the corner, right? Like, this is just too slow to knock somebody down in the corner, then you go into your combo. You're not going to knock them down, back up and set this up. You can't even knock them across the screen and set it up, right? So clearly, it's not made to lock them down. It's just made to get on the screen, and once you have it on the screen, then maybe you can come into mix. And that was all fine and well when we had the variation system, the three preset. Like, even something like this, let me put it on breakaway. Like, why would I even want to set this up and then try to mix them into it if they can still break out anyway, off both the overhead or the low? And keep in mind, even have this as an option. God forbid I even get it on the screen. I'm taking a huge risk. Why would I do that when I have other ways to do this? right? They break away, I'm still taking 33, right? 25%, right? Instead of 14%. So I have an overhead combo starter with either the Rising Ice or the Deep Freeze that is very practical, more damaging, always an option, as opposed to Arctic Trap. And I can also still equip Creeping Ice. So Avalanche doesn't exist. There's no reason to have a move to complement Avalanche when you are not bound to pick Avalanche. I can pick whatever I want, right? So for me, a move like Arctic Trap, even if they were to take the move and say shave 9 frames off of it to match the current wake up system, it's still, there's no reason for it because there's no Avalanche. I don't need to have something like that. Before, the only way I had safety off the overhead was with Creeping Ice, but the only way I got Creeping Ice was I had to take Avalanche, and then they gave me the Arctic Trap there to kind of complement whatever. But now I can choose Deep Freeze with Creeping Ice. I can choose Rising Ice with Creeping Ice. There's no reason for that move. A lot of characters fall into this, in which they have moves that were designed to complement something they were doing in one of their tournament variations. But because now you no longer have to say, well, this move is designed to help with that, because I can pick a better move to help with that and pick one of the other moves that went with that variation. Now I can pick 3 moves that do this, that, and the other. So there's no reason for that. Arctic Trap and moves that represent this type of situation should just be removed from the game. And then maybe you could replace them with a different move or whatever. Like, for example, Sub-Zero, I would go Ice Shower. I would remove something from Raiden and maybe give him the Shocker, right? So instead of a worthless move that occupies 2 slots, maybe you can give him his Shocker that we see in MK2. We saw it in, I was in MK9, MKX, moves like that are a little more legacy. Like same thing with Sonia. You can get rid of some of her worthless moves, give her maybe Kiss, Leg Grab, Cartwheel, whatever, and you're not affecting one of her presets variations. You're not affecting one of his preset variations. You're not affecting one of Raiden's preset variations because there are no preset variations. Then, once there are no preset variations, I would then take every move and I would make them 1 slot. There'd be no more 2 and 3 slot moves. Everything is 1 slot. The goal isn't to destroy Cetrion or Jackie. The goal is to power creep them up fairly to their level. And I thought about maybe adding a 4th slot instead of just 3, or making everything 1 slot. But if you make moves 4 slots, then characters like Cetrion just get another move. Jackie just gets another move. So these characters would need 4 slots to buff them up to like a Jackie or Cetrion level, but these guys would use that 4 slot to take them past where you are with your 3 slots. So the best option here is just to make everything 1 slot. And then, again, an idea, we've all heard me say this before, just make a lot of moves that are not default already. For example, Melina, take her Air Psy Blast, her low Psy Blast, or her Air Soaring Psy and her low Psy Blast, make it default. Air Teledrop, make it default, and then take 3 new moves. Now, here's what I want to do. If you're telling me, NetherRealm Studios, that you cannot possibly come up with 3 new original moves to match your custom variation system while power creeping Melina, then you are not good enough of a designer to do a custom variation system. You lack the vision to do a custom variation system if your idea of, innovation is low Psy Blast, Air Soaring Psy, and Air Teledrop. So I am throwing down the gauntlet, and I am challenging you, NetherRealm, to be as original as you have been in the past. You guys are certainly one of the most creative thinkers I know, and yet you've kind of taken a vacation on that. So I'm challenging you to prove me wrong, slap the taste out of my mouth, and go back to being the creative designers that I know you guys actually are. Then I would go on and, again, take some moves like this that are, again, these 2 slot moves, and you can make them 1, like Joe Push. So right now with Raiden, if you had the 3 slot variation system and you wanted to say, all right, I'm going to make Joe Push 1 slot, or make Joe Push the Shocker, or take lightning rod and you remove it for something else. Well, you completely destroy Thunder Wave Raiden, right? Not Thunder Wave, Truth and Light Raiden, right? So Thunder Wave Raiden could not coexist with these overhauls unless there was no Truth and Light Raiden, unless there was no preset variation for any of them. Now you have so much freedom that you can kind of do, whether it's getting rid of moves like Scarlet right here. I would take this move right here, that's 2 slots, Blood Flow, and I would make it default. And again, you wouldn't have to worry about ruining variations that have Blood Flow because there would be no preset variation that uses Blood Flow. Shiva, you wouldn't have to nerf her to the ground. Maybe you could take her Stomp and make both of them selectable moves, right? And then she wouldn't have that extra slot. She would have to equip the directional Stomp. She would have to equip the down-up Stomp. And then, who knows from there, she has to do something else. I mean, maybe you can change some of her tools around. Whatever it is you want to do with her, you can kind of overhaul her to be like different with maybe what her normals do or what some of her other specials do without having to worry about, oh my God, how are we going to balance it with default Stomp? Because there would be no default Stomp and there's no variation system preset to tie her to anything like that. And this really solves a lot of the problems of the variation system. Once you do it like this, then you could go in character by character. And of course, as I said, there'd be no banned moves. And now you can kind of go in character by character and kind of change things around for the new variation that you have because there are no longer any limitations, unlike the limitations that the preset variation system place on the game currently. So those are my ideas for overhauling the variation system. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always curious to hear your suggestions in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stay tuned for more content.